For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics. For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We focus on the issues that are of importance to you. Somebody did ask the question also, when that happened, are the Americans requesting St. Lucia to set up vetted units within the ranks of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? And we'll be hearing from the world's best Prime Minister. All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon right here on the Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. My name is Timothy Poleon. In a moment, we'll be hearing from Kimani. She'll be going through some of the comments in the chat room, and I'll be hearing from you as well at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. The French Ministry of Foreign Affairs has decided to issue an advisory. And that advisory is saying to French nationals visiting the country, be very careful. Because there's wanton shooting incidents occurring in St. Lucia, various parts of the island, in the north, in the south, and a number of other so-called depressed communities. So be very careful. And normally, those warning signals, whenever they are sent to the nationals of a country, those people do not venture to travel to that trouble spot. They don't go there and say, well, boy, I'll try to tread carefully. A lot of those individuals decide not to take the trek to that particular destination. Some would take the risk. And life is a risk. A risk in the United States if you travel to the U.S., a risk if you travel to Barbados, South Africa, New Zealand, Sweden, you name it. But we have always prided ourselves as St. Lucians, as people, one, who are hospitable. We have some individuals here who can act in a very unsavory manner, etc., and sophisticated, you know it. But by and large, hospitable people. By and large, a safe destination. Can we really consider St. Lucia to be a safe destination anymore? Considering how we have allowed things to get out of hand, and the probability of being shot, injured, killed has increased significantly over the last several years on the island. Who is responsible? You might want to tell me the citizenry, those criminal elements, the bad actors, and just a handful of people. But also we must ask the question, why did we allow the situation to get out of control, to get out of hand? Have some individuals who are charged with the responsibility to maintain law and order in St. Lucia, have they been sleeping at the wheel? So I found it very strange. When the question was put to the Prime Minister of this country, National Security Minister of this country, regarding a travel advisory by the French, and this is at the press conference on Wednesday, which coincided with the second anniversary of his administration, this is what the Prime Minister had to say.
When that happened?
There was some advisory sometime last week.
I've not been informed. When that happened?
There was some advisory sometime last week.
I've not been informed.
Any Prime Minister reacting to such a question in this manner, any national security minister reacting to a question of that nature in that manner, what do you have to say about that individual? If it were, let's say, Alain Chastanet as Prime Minister, he does not know that the French have issued an advisory pertaining to security in St. Lucia, pertaining to the crime problem. In the days of Stephenson King, the question was posed to him as Prime Minister, and he does not know? But there are a lot of political things that a Prime Minister would know on a daily basis. Because the reason I think he's been saying, always ask his, I think it's the press secretary, I mean, what did they say about me? What did they write about me on Facebook? And he's informed, is enlightened on that. But he's not enlightened on this important matter involving relations between St. Lucia and the French, involving how the country is seen outside of St. Lucia, in terms of people's perception of the island as far as crime is concerned, and not only perception, but the reality on the ground, because in St. Lucia, we can pretend all we want. We can say crime is not an issue. We can say it's an isolated problem. All we want. We can be in denial. But it takes someone beyond the hypocrisy, beyond the 238 square miles St. Lucia to say, I'm calling a spade a spade. Crime is a serious issue in this country. And it's not a problem that's created by law-abiding citizens, a problem created by some criminal elements within our borders. And it is not for the French, for the Americans to address, or the British. It is for us to tackle. And if we are honest about it, we must first be honest about it to deal with the problem. And we continue to hear excuse after excuse in terms of the reporting, and we must look at it in its context, look at it from a particular perspective. When those guys are in opposition, they're not so nuanced. Don't think about the country's reputation. And if you're reporting that 5 homicides occurred over a particular weekend, which is true, 4 homicides during one incident or 3 homicides as a reporter, you are reporting the facts. And those are the facts. You have verified it. But you know what? The politicians have to put their spin on it. The Prime Minister has to put his spin. The National Security Minister putting his spin on it instead of acknowledging this is a very serious problem and we ought to deal with it first at the community level, and we also ought to deal with it at the national level. Let us listen to this Zane Romulus report focusing on that same travel advisory by the French.
The French Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued a travel advisory cautioning its citizens about the deteriorating security situation in St. Lucia. The advisory, which was published on July 3rd, states that there is a noticeable increase in the rate of homicides, particularly by firearms. It went on to say that no part of the island is now spared from crime, citing an alarming increase in shootings and murderous settling of scores in Vieux-Fort, Castries, Grosley, and various parts of the island. In the publication, French citizens were asked to exercise vigilance in all places and in all circumstances, and to avoid certain isolated areas, particularly in the northern part of the island and in the disadvantaged neighborhoods of the country. At a press conference on Wednesday, July 26, Prime Minister Philippe Pierre was questioned about the advisory. At the time, he indicated that he had no knowledge of it.
When that happened?
There was some advisory sometime last week.
I've not been informed.
The Prime Minister, however, did indicate that if this is the case, it is not good news for the country. He expressed his opinion about how media reports on crime could affect the international perception of the country. The Prime Minister has previously expressed concerns about the manner in which crimes are being reported in the local media. A fatal shooting at the Rodney Bay Marina last month prompted a request from the St. Lucia Tourism Authority for sensitivity in reporting the incident. The travel advisory issued by the French authorities did mention that places usually peaceful and frequented by tourists and expatriates are also being affected by the increased level of violence and homicides.
There are certain things that have to be within a certain context. Now, we have a right to report crime. We have a right to report it. It's the press's right to report crime. But there are consequences when the will hears about your country being a war zone.
Prime Minister Philippe Pierre has also chastised the opposition for what he says are irresponsible comments being made over the airwaves about the situation on the island.
The leader of the opposition goes over and says, and Michelle is on safe. People are afraid. 10,000 people were here for Christmas, for Carnival. More than 15 were here for jazz. 15,000 were here for jazz. More than 10 were here for Carnival. People are here as we speak now. People are here from England having a reunion in St. Lucia. And you say St. Lucia people are afraid to go out into this country? Now, when you say these kind of things, if people don't know who you are, they may believe you. But this is destructive. So you can't blame anybody if they want to react. When you can be so that's not an opinion, you know. That's irresponsible because the evidence doesn't show it.
The Prime Minister, National Security Minister says the evidence does not show it. The statistics do not show it. There are consequences, the Prime Minister says, when the world has your country is a war zone. I mean, what happened recently in Vieux-Fort? I mean, what happened in Vieux-Fort, honestly? Because just recently, the Prime Minister enacted legislation before the island's parliament. And as a result of this, the Prime Minister had to declare Vieux-Fort a crime, an area of concern as far as crime in this country. And yet still, today he's saying something totally different. The reality is we have a serious crime problem in our country. And the Prime Minister cannot and ought not to be coming up with all kind of reasons as to why people on the outside should not be concerned, and whether it's the leader of the opposition or reporters should not be making reference to the reality on the ground in our country. I think the Prime Minister just looking for a way out. The Prime Minister is just making excuses. The Prime Minister is not taking any kind of responsibility for what is happening in St. Lucia right now. It is easy as opposition politicians to oppose. It is very difficult for governments to govern. That is what we are experiencing right now. Whilst in opposition, very easy for the SLP to oppose. Now the SLP is in government, very difficult for the SLP to govern. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. What's in the chat room? As we await your calls at 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026.
Good afternoon to you, Tim. Someone in the chat room says, hey, but it's not fouls. These days, people love their pets. They are ready to make a whole funeral. It's human beings, and we have to say when they get executed, SMH. Another comment, no one cannot control crime unless the people of St. Lucia control themselves. Someone says, let's see, people are afraid to go out. We are all afraid. We had to close schools and the business sector.
So this is what I wanted to stress on, Kimani, earlier on. VA4 South declared an escalated crime area until the 16th of May. That's under the Escalated Crime Area Act. VA4 South was declared an escalated crime area until the 16th of May. Continue.
Another comment, someone said, Tim, I have a problem with the opposition. Why are they so quiet? Are they afraid that if they get back into power, people will hold them accountable for their words in opposition? Another comment, Tim asked Shazi to call concerning the French advisory. And someone is requesting that we talk about the Josie issue. Another comment in the chat room. So what are you saying, Pierre? A lot of people to travel to a war zone and get killed. What a shame on you.
I don't think we should be saying don't travel to St. Lucia. I think the responsibility is that of the national security, the government of this country, the police, citizens, to ensure that the place is safe so that visitors from France, Martinique, Guadeloupe, you name it, they can visit St. Lucia. Likewise, visitors from other parts of the world, because we need the tourism industry. That is the mainstay of the local economy, and we cannot afford to jeopardize it. And ignoring the crime problem, making excuses as far as our handling of the crime situation is concerned, certainly that will not help our cause. That's it, as far as the comments?
I have another one. Someone says, if he is not informed, then his staffers are failing him. They should keep him updated on everything in St. Lucia.
We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
But it was really disheartening to hear the Prime Minister's comments, sir.
Which comment?
From the time you heard the Prime Minister say, you see, you see, the excuses just start rushing. And I do not know how the persons who are, the media personnel there are not, giving a follow-up question.
Right. Caller, the old people have a saying, Upwesa Bushman. I mean, the follow-up question, but Mr. Prime Minister, I don't understand how you do not know.
Exactly. Number one.
Why you don't know?
Number one, why don't you know, sir? I mean, okay, fair enough, because you have persons who are posted in Martinique. You have persons who are French ambassadors, etc. That's part of their duty to ensure that, they clear that air and let him. Secondly, I mean, the statement is issued and we're not hearing, okay, how are we going to deal with it? Instead, we're hearing blame coming to the opposition, to the media. And the media is sitting there and basically allowing themselves to be blamed. Because I would have asked him, well, sir, how do you want us to report crime? Give us a sample as to how you want us to produce a news report when crime occurs. Because apparently you want us to say it outright.
I mean, there was a period, an era during the reign of Radio St. Lucia, when news directors would call certain government ministers and read out the stories to them and say, this is what is coming up in the 1 o'clock news. Are you pleased with this? And the government minister would say, no, cross this out. We don't want this out. This is too sensitive. Or as a matter of fact, leave this story out. That's under a St. Lucia Labour Party administration, eh?
So to me, I have not heard, the solution, the resolution that yes, this is something that we're going to tackle. We're going to try to ensure that we do not have these, advisories given out because we're going to deal with it internally. Instead, we're looking at all external sources and the media. So you see when and secondly, Tim, I have a serious issue with, our St. Lucian police sometimes. I had a traffic accident. It's about 6 months now. And let me tell you, it's been a headache trying to track down that police officer to get me a report. The guy can't tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, I need to know as well.
Yeah.
I had a bus, and it was a bus driver. The guy is not the owner of the bus, and it's just a headache, promising to pay me. And you have a statute of limitations of 6 months to be able to file a motor vehicle claim or for the police to put it within the courts. And my 6 months elapsed after having gone to Grizzly Police Station to get the guy many times, call his supervisors, they keep promising to call me back. I had gone to Chesterfield a couple times, and nobody is able to tell me, yes, definitively, this guy is going to produce this stuff. And my 6 months elapsed. So I am definitely going to, it's not a lot of money, but on principle, I think I'm going to have to take this guy to court. Because I remember I called some time ago to a program. It was an HTS, and the program where they give you legal advice. And I asked that question. And the guy says, no, you can't take a police officer to court. But the fact is you can. Because it's a dereliction of his duty not to complete a police report.
Well, the police officer might win that case because he'll tell you, boy, I am saddled with so much work. I have to give evidence in court. Then I have to return to my work, my duties the next day. Not enough police officers. On that technicality, maybe he might just win you because that's what I'm hearing from police officers.
Because it has happened in similar jurisdictions. I think my attorney was saying it hasn't necessarily happened here, but I think I will start that ball. There's too many times the police officers are being a little slack. I'm not saying all of them. Some of them are being a little slack and not. Because I think he thought that maybe we would fix it on our own or something. But, I mean, I have called you so many times. Let me tell you, I have gone up there. They told me once you're on an accident scene, I waited for the guy an hour and a half. He said, tell me, go, he'll call me, never call me. No. I think sometimes they are dropping the ball and they need to do better.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling. Some of your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you via WhatsApp. You are on the air.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tim, one last Prime Minister, sir. Me say, wow, we Tim. We are the laughing stock of the world. The Prime Minister's asking, you're the National Security Minister, you're asking, when did that happen? You mean to tell me you not? I mean, what are the people in his office, all the press secretaries and all of them, they're not appraising the man with what's happening in around him? And you know what Mr. Pierre wants to blame? The opposition and the media. Didn't we have French police gendarmes here assisting us when they had all the thing happening in Soufrière, in Beaufort?
Yes, we even
the
had
French were one of the first to come here.
We even had French dogs. We had a French canine, a French dog.
Exactly. So the French are aware of what's happening here. And instead of the Prime Minister saying, well, he'll tackle that and he'll do whatever is, he have to come on Chasney back. Everything is Chasney and the opposition and the media said, sit down there. I don't know if their mouth, when it was Chasney that was there, and Chasney had said that, oh, you would hear all of them on his back. You know what I mean? I think the Labour Party really buy out the media, you know. We don't have journalists, we don't have media in St. Lucia. Tim, I cannot believe the Prime Minister so naive. What kind of Prime Minister we have there, Tim? And to think, and you know his supporters will support and make all kind of excuses, Tim. Where are we going for Prime Minister like that? Tim, how many murders we've had so far?
Officially from the police, they're saying at least 50, I think at least 50 homicides, close to 50.
And the Prime Minister saying there's no evidence to prove that? That we are a war zone, that other nations are telling the people, be careful when they come here? Where's the Prime Minister in La La Land? See, I really can't understand that, Tim. Every day, according to him, when Norbert had his show it was, he used to say every day. Well, every day is another story of that Prime Minister. Eh? Why, Tim? I don't know what to do. I am just fed up every time that Prime Minister opened his mouth. Yesterday, I was looking at an interview he had with Mata Baruka, and there was a lot of lies spilled in that interview. The Prime Minister talking about marijuana is decriminalized, and if you caught with marijuana, your thing will be expunged. When was that, Tim? When you caught with marijuana?
Well, no, the quantity you can have a certain quantity.
A certain amount.
30 grams, yeah.
But he was saying about if you caught with marijuana, if you have marijuana cases, you will be expunged, like that will be wiped out. When was that passed? When did they say that, Tim?
I think
did you ever hear that?
No, I've not heard anything about your criminal record being expunged as far as convicted for marijuana.
Exactly. And the man, I wish I could send that for you to sit down and listen to the Prime Minister and all the things he was talking about. What's the name of the thing we have in the I'm so confused with that Prime Minister. I don't even know what to say. The 1st of August.
Emancipation Day.
Yes, you need to really listen to that interview with Mata Baruka. And Mata Baruka, you could hear on the way he was wondering where the Prime Minister come from. You could hear on his tone of voice. That man is an embarrassment. That man is an embarrassment. Every time he says, you open your mouth and saying, when did that happen as security minister, Tim? And Tim, I will go back to the Josie thing again. I will always say what Mr. Josie said, he was wrong to say it. You understand? But they on his back. Up to last night, Shelton Daniel was insulting Alan Chasney to the last. And none of them come and say anything. If you listen to the show last night, I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know what was happening with Shelton. Shelton not supposed to be a Christian, whatever his name is. You understand? They can come out and say what they want, insult people, say anything on the air. The minute is the other side that say they have a problem. And the Prime Minister is the head of it, the great divider, I will call him that again. He's the head. When somebody asking you a question about the crime and the French putting thing on us, you want to, first thing you jump in on is the opposition leader. Poor Jab Chasney. Everything that have gone wrong with the Labour Party is Chasney. But God knows, I'm 5 years, not 40 years, Goodbye, Tim.
Thank you so much. We have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm not too bad, and I wish you all best weekend.
You too, sir.
Tim, in your Creole kidi, where you want to say be? To stay out there when you're in opposition to say one thing, and when you are in the meat of the thing, it's a different case, All before you have an answer for everything. You have an answer for crime, you have an answer for employment. In fact, you have an answer to do everything better. But right now, you're in the driver's seat. And right now is the time to test you, to see what you said in opposition and where you are now, if you can stick to your promise. And strangely, the Prime Minister seems he cannot stick to none of those promises that he had made. So you said sometimes, in fact, there was a time you tell me you don't call people lazy on your program. You told me that. And you don't call people liars on a program. But then, Tim, when we're not speaking the truth, how are we calling that? How you want to describe that?
You are misleading the public.
so that is the better term to use. Misleading. But the amount of misleading we have got, and then we still believe that, God forbid that something good will come out. Something good will come out come good for St. Lucia. It's amazing when I hear and let me say he's the Prime Minister for sure. That's because if you go on the book, they will see the amount of Prime Minister we have had so far. When I heard the Prime Minister talk about when the question was asked to the Prime Minister, and you want to refer to opposition and the media, but I don't think the Prime Minister have understood the role of National Security Minister. Huh? National security, which means you are responsible for the nation's security, you know. And I have often told my friend Mr. Philip J.P.A., sir, please, give that position to somebody. I know you are so preoccupied in so many different things. So that seems to have a very big toll on you. Give it to somebody else and stay at the back and watch and see how the person is doing it. That is too much. You have one of the most fundamental responsibilities, such as the economy, to manage. And then you have the national to protect the people of St. Lucia. And, you know, I believe the Prime Minister, and every time you ask him, he said his father was a policeman, his father, he's not a law enforcement officer, his father was a policeman, but maybe his father has taught him something about law enforcement. Nobody don't know. That's why he stick to National Security Minister. But without any doubt, we are in chaos, we're in serious trouble, and we are hoping who is going to get St. Lucia out of the mess it is. But in the meantime, I know, and I have heard people tell, even on your program, tell you both parties are the same. Let me tell you that. Those two parties are not the same. You have SLP and UWP. If you are citizens of St. Lucia, you watch the program of United Workers' Party for 5 years. Had they got another chance to represent St. Lucia, the people of St. Lucia would have breathed a sign of relief, such as gas, the cooking gas, the LPG, and gas on your vehicle. The state of our roads, which is something that vehemently Labour Party campaign against. We're not eating road. Right now, everybody, island-wide, bad road. Where are the media people? Where are they? And the only person who could keep us abreast as to what is happening in St. Lucia is you, Mr. Poleon. These are the only program. I mean, it's not a political, but the people of St. Lucia have to speak their mind. They cannot hide it away. They have to tell you what is happening. And Tim, you have get the criticism person say, oh, Tim Murphy has side. And Tim Murphy is one of the most objective journalists in St. Lucia, whether you like it or not. And when you take another line where he's not privy to, he will tell you that he don't know what it is and he will not give you a time to say what you are saying. My brother, may God be with you. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Still to come, we have some more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. We'll be hearing from a very concerned Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Mottley. St. Lucia's Prime Minister is very livid when it comes to the failure of the contractors to complete the road reconstruction. That's the Millennium Highway Road reconstruction. All that and more, including your calls and your WhatsApp messages.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Introducing the new LoSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From My Account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. Luselect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Salu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese, and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400
or visit our website kfcslu.com
or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Automotive art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive art, bigger and better.
To correct a contributor to the broadcast with reference to the criminal record of some people being expunged with regard to marijuana possession, because there was this Criminal Records and Rehabilitation Amendment Bill in 2021 which expunged individuals with criminal records for the possession of up to 30 grams of marijuana. And the amendment to the Misuse of Drugs Act that came soon after decriminalized the personal use of small quantities of 30 grams of cannabis or less, and also people who use marijuana in such places such as public places such as restaurants or bars may be fined up to $1,500, and also individuals under 13 who are found in possession of weed will have to participate in a drug counseling program. So yes, indeed, persons who in the past were found with quantity of marijuana not exceeding 30 grams, they had their criminal records expunged. Let's continue with your calls at 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. That's 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Okay. Tim, I watched that clipping with the Prime Minister saying that, he sounds so surprised that he didn't know the French authority put out that bulletin to the citizens. Timothy, I am telling St. Lucians today, any country any country in the world that is going to put out a bulletin like that to the people, they usually inform the country leader. You hearing me, St. Lucians? Philip Pierre is playing like it's the first time he's hearing that. Again, St. Lucia, this man is playing with you all. There's a French embassy based in St. Lucia, in Castries, at VG. The French people called Philip Pierre and they had a meeting with him in Martinique. Okay? Philip Pierre knows everything that is happening there. He's pretending to be dotish and surprised. But he knows everything that is happening there. There is no way the French people will call their citizens and tell them, be careful when they come into St. Lucia, and they don't alert Philip Pierre of that. It's a hard pill for me to swallow. And this man have been playing with the people of St. Lucia for the past, now going on 30 years, Timothy. 30 years now. He has failed the country as a minister, and he has failed the country as a prime minister in less than 2 years. The entire St. Lucian population have seen it, just a handful of people. Just a handful of people that is there clinching onto them. Okay? All the rurara and the thing. This man know exactly where St. Lucia is. It is not different than the UK right now is doing that sanctions with the passport system, with the region. They didn't just stay and do it. They let the leaders know first.
Well, they're taking action against Dominica and no other island so far.
Yeah, but they said it will be followed. The rest of the islands, it will come.
That's according to a piece, but it is not being attributed to the authorities in the UK. So let's wait and see what happens.
Okay, Tim. But still, they all know what is happening. If Ralph Gonzalez can talk about it, all of them know. Timothy, all of them know. The same way they imposed the lady law on us. Didn't the Americans let Stephen King know the reason why they imposed these things and they revoked Mr. Frederick's visa? They don't just stay and take you by surprise. They give you a chance to fix it. But when you're playing the big bad wolf and you don't care, you just care about yourself and you do not care about the people of your country, and you play a blind eye to those people's requests, eventually it will come down. Philip Pierre knows everything that is happening there. Philip Pierre knows very well St. Lucia is in a bad place. And the people of St. Lucia, they are not talking. The institutions, because they took the bribe. Tim, I will go back to the Bible. I don't care who say they don't like it, they don't believe in God or whatever. But when the Bible that I am reading told the world that God said that when he was setting up governments, he told them do not take the bribe, especially the judge and the big dozen authorities. Do not take bribe. Whenever you take bribe, your business will not work out well. It will not work out well. And that is where St. Lucia is today. The silent is because of the deals that they made with the government to come in there. That is preventing the news reporters from reporting properly. That is why. It's simple. And St. Lucians, you're allowing your own people to suffer the consequences to save a political party. The country is going down. You cannot be like that and allow a country to sing that way and everybody is silent. Because of what? just to tell Philippia he's going down the wrong road and fix it? Fix it for all of us, even the associations that are saying quiet. Because when the country go down, they themselves go down too, Tim. It's not just the poor people that will be hurting. All of us are going down in it. I cannot understand what is wrong with our people, Timothy. Tell me what is wrong with them. What is wrong with them? You think that well, they praise me a Motley all the time. You think me and Motley will get be in a press conference with her people and the news reporters will ask them that, and me and Motley will say she don't know nothing about that? Something as serious as this? St. Lucians, wake up, man. Wake up. Team, have a blessed
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Kimani, what's happening in the chat room?
Someone says, let's see. The masses don't need the voice of the elites and those who benefit from government policies to influence change. Majority rules. Someone says, Tim, tell your minister I want my child's passport. It's in St. Lucia from March. Calling the consulate, they can't give an update. Another comment, caller, that doesn't make sense. When you had the accident, the person gives you the information and you filed with the insurance. The police should give you their phone number in case the insurance wants it. The only time you get involved with the police is if they file a traffic case. Another comment, Tim, most St. Lucians are afraid, including a government minister. Bad publicity for our country. Let's accept the truth and deal with our crime issues. Someone says, police reports are not evidence. Stop waiting for them. They are just hearsay within hearsay. PJP's 5-point security plan. Don't report crime, don't report crime, don't report crime, don't report crime, and don't report crime.
Could imagine somebody taking you to task on you reading this particular message in the chat room. but that is the reality. That's what we're getting. That's the sense we're getting from government officials, government ministries, even government departments. You know, be careful how you report crime. Do not say that this homicide or this shooting incident occurred in that particular location because it's so much of a sensitive location. The visitors will know. The embassies do know. The foreign diplomats, they know. The foreign governments, they are very much aware of what is happening around the world so that they could provide instruction, they could advise their citizens where to travel in terms of the destinations and what part of those destinations that they should avoid. I mean, you have advisories being issued by the authorities, the U.S., etc., on crime in Trinidad, on crime in Jamaica. And these days, St. Lucia is leading as far as crime is concerned in the Caribbean. So crime in St. Lucia as well.
Someone says, so Tim, how come you are not highlighting the comments Josie made about inciting violence? You turn your attention quickly to PJP as usual, SMH.
Because, I mean, come on. Do I really care? Other than he's an individual I have tremendous respect for, do I really care about what Peter Josie says? He's just a veteran politician who has had his time being Minister of Agriculture. Why focus on a priest when I could focus on the Pope or focus on God? A lot of what Philip J. Pierre does, what he says, would have a greater impact on us in St. Lucia than what Peter Josie would say or what he would do, if we just want to sensationalize it. And what he said was irresponsible, but equally we could point to so many people in leadership position in this country. You know, we have said so many things without giving clear consideration to the implications of their statements. And you don't get a sense that people are outraged and coming out in unison and speaking against those things. This is a valuable broadcast. I want to waste my audience's time and focus on things that are just not important. Focus on the crime problem in this country. Focus on the poor state of our roads. Focus on the performance of our national security minister. Focus on your ability or inability to purchase a few groceries at the supermarket. Those, for me, are the critically important issues. The side issues sometimes are passing, you focus on it, but then you have to be mindful of what is important.
Someone says, Timothy Poleon, why are you not stopping this woman? Has she been in government? I guess referring to the previous caller. Another comment, the PM enacted legislation making Vieux an escalated crime zone, yet he is asking for evidence. If there is no evidence, why pass legislation? Another comment, the SLP is in government and opposition at the same time. They're in government opposing the things they opposed when they were in opposition. Someone says, as the Minister of National Security, you don't know that the French placed an advisory on St. Lucia. How can that be? Tim, last year when this government said the homicide figure was at 75, the Martinique authorities said it was at 130. Why didn't PJP come out to say that they lied? That is it in the chat room.
Thank you so much, Kimani. As we continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages, 452-2979. We have a call on that line. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we've lost that call. Let me see if I could go through some of your WhatsApp messages. Please bear with me while I try to access those messages. Somebody says, it's funny how in opposition, the current Prime Minister was getting leaks on everything before it happened and now no information flowing. Why did he fix the leaks and not the roads? LOL. Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yes.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes, sir.
Timothy, the reality is, and I'm not going to run around with the bush with that, the reality is with Philip J.P. Philip J.P.
Hello? Okay, we're not hearing the caller. All right, let's see if we get another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You on the air. Hello?
Three-time Journalist of the Year. Hello. Mr. Timothy Poleon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. All right.
Kamani, good afternoon.
There's some background noise there, so take care of that for me, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Kamani, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Tim, I got to congratulate Lisa Jararu.
It's not, it's Jawayer, caller. Jawayer.
Lisa Jawayer, spokesman for the SLP, for saying the people took a chance and took a risk when they voted for the SLP. Did you hear that, Tim?
Yes, sir.
For once, she spoke the truth. For once, she spoke the truth. Very truth. She'd like to congratulate the people of St. Lucia for taking the risk and the chance for voting for the SLP. But the main thing I called for to deal with Mr. David Shakes Christopher. Mr. David Shakes Christopher, I appreciate 1,000,000,000% what you're doing for my country. I should say our country. You stand out. If only Richard Peter King, John Peters, and Tulsi had to take a leaf for your book. You showed a lot of guts. You showed a lot of courage standing up to the businessmen and the government of St. Lucia, saying what they should be doing, and they're not doing it. And for that, you should take a bow, sir. Enough respect, sir. Enough respect. That's the kind of people that I would like to see in my country. Not people like Richard Peterkin, not people like John Peters, not people like Tulsi. You show a lot of guts, man. I love you for that, man. I love you for that. Serious. Take a bow, man. Enough respect. Let me tell you, you're the first person I see come out and stand out. You stand out. You made me smile. You made me smile yesterday, sir. You made me smile. And you were telling the truth. You were telling the truth. You were telling the truth. Tim, have a nice day.
Thank you so much for calling. Let's try another line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Yes, Timothy, yeah.
Yes, caller.
Yeah. My problem is, I find I find Mr. King a little quiet, man. As a man from the
Which king? Minister King?
yeah, Minister King.
Mm-hmm.
I find he now a little quiet. To make such a move, and I mean, now you want infrastructure. Well, he's infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
And he's so quiet. Because you make a move for betterment, right? Right? And all that now is going on, man, and you just, I mean, like, come on. You make that little snake move there, and, you know, you on the media, you're laughing. Yeah, people asking you, are you going to move? And no, we're going to wait to see. And then, boom, you make your move. And boom, you get there, they give you whatever you put for. Now, I mean, you for government now, right? You alliance to them. But the man quiet. You find that man quiet? I find him a little too quiet.
What do you want him to say?
No, man, you make a move for a change, man. It's supposed to be a different line, because at the end of the day, Linda, he moved there. That means sometimes he tell whatever, he make voters move according to him, right? Who know, maybe his move might make a difference in voters' mind. Now you are there, you're quiet. That man. That is sad on his part. I don't know what's up with him. But anyway, with Mr. Pierre, when I see the clip, I think Mr. Pierre know that, and then Mr. Pierre playing retarded. But at the end of the day, Mr. Pierre has to know we have a wellness center out there. You know, if you playing retarded, you should take a trip there. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You national security. Nah, man, that is just the man game of politics. And you have to know the SLP. That is just the game of politics. You know, you playing dumb and ignoring the that's the man, no substance. And that is what it is. I just him playing the game. And that is a boy I would know. I mean, if we have to hold a man for another 2-3 years, boy, I would imagine St. Lucia balling. You know what I mean? But anyway.
All right, sir.
I just want to hear what's up with Mr. King, man. What's up with him?
Okay, thank you so much for calling. Somebody's asking, where is Shazi about that Martinique saga and how he didn't tell Philip J. Pierre? If Philip didn't lie, then he forgot to tell the truth. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Tim, I drive a bus on the Castries to Vieux-Fort route, and the road from Grand Rivière to Fondon needs some serious attention. I'm calling on the minister with responsibility for the roads or infrastructure to ease the burden for us drivers, as parts are expensive. And I could tell you, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, is siding with those who are complaining about the poor state, in particular of the Millennium Highway. And reconstruction work has been taking place there for the longest while. And at this famous press conference this week, Mr. Philip J. Pierre also spoke on this issue, and he's siding with the road users, those who are complaining about the poor state of the Millennium Highway. Let's hear from the Prime Minister.
I am fed up, I am disgusted, and I'm angry, like them, even more than them. So I support them in that regard. I really support them. But you must look at the history. You must look at how the contract was awarded, who awarded the contract, under what conditions the contract was awarded. When we start discussing all that, we'll continue. But I'm just like them. In fact, you spoil my day. What's happening there is ridiculous. What's happening there is something that is calling to heaven for vengeance. You understand? But we are tied into certain contracts that is difficult to get out of. But I support them, and if I could lead a demonstration tomorrow against that road, I will go. I will go. Because there's absolutely no excuse for it. But as a government who run the country now, obviously the blame will come to us. Obviously. Not fair, but obviously. So, but we do all we can. But the time may come when we may have to take a drastic measure that as a public to support us on.
Prime Minister of St. Lucia speaking on the dilapidated state of the Millennium Highway and the failure of the contractors to complete that project. And that is, of course, to the annoyance of not only the Prime Minister, but the other road users, in particular, minibus drivers who must use that route. We have another call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Jim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
2 points. One, I think, honestly, with regards to the Prime Minister's response to whether he knew about the communique that came from Martinique with regards to
the travel advisory.
Travel advisory, yes. That just speaks to the level of the man's incompetence and obliviousness as to what is going on. I mean, it's not to say you're an agriculture minister and, that is not part of your purview. That is astounding. You understand? And for the way he remarked, I think he said, when that happened.
Yeah. When that happened, that's what he asked.
And that's your expression, like.
But instead, people want me to talk about Peter Josie, man. Let's talk about Peter Josie. Peter Josie,
Well, actually, that was going to my second point, But still, I'm just going on. How could you not be aware of? It's not to say something that came out in the morning and you have the press conference in the afternoon, and it hasn't got to your desk. That's days. I think the person said last week or something like that, and that does not come to your. So what are you doing? You understand? What else is it that you're doing if you're not even doing part of what is directly under your portfolio? So if that is not glaring enough to really let the people know the Prime Minister has dropped the ball and is off the court, I do not know what else is. And now on to my second point with regards to Peter Josie. Again, I will say this. Peter Josie is, in my opinion, a senile relic that should be put out to pasture. Because you do not come out and make that kind of pronouncement. That is grossly irresponsible. That stops short of a directive to tell people, go. If you're going to say, if you have a problem, then go and do that. As anybody that has a problem will go and do that.
Mm-hmm.
That is grossly irresponsible. I can understand with the politics of the past and how the fellows will say whatever they want to say. But I think it's gotten to the point where his mouth off break.
I think what has happened is that we have reached a point where anyone, those in authority, those who have held leadership positions, those who are holding leadership positions right now, they can act and say anything with impunity. And, so many of us in this country, civil society, right-minded individuals, we turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to those things. We say nothing. So then people believe it's a free-for-all. Anybody can say what they want and get away with it. That's what's happening.
No, because, consider it. You say, okay, another thing again in politics, it's that's the thing about it. Everybody gets to do what they want, the bad things, but then all they do is, hey, they did it, so I doing it.
When you hear, for example, somebody says, you should place a bomb under the seat of the Prime Minister and Guy Joseph and detonate it in the House of Assembly, and nothing happens. So then it's a free-for-all. Anybody can say and do anything.
But here's the thing. If I come out and say you should not say that, that's crazy. I cannot come out tomorrow and say something on that same level. Then I look ridiculous and I have no standing. But these statements are literally done to their base. When you the same way Trump talking to his base, they have the 40% that no matter what you do, you're right. And that is they're speaking to these to rile these up. And that's not right. So you don't have to do that. And I honestly think they should have come out and condemned that statement, because you cannot be saying that bazooka talk was so outrageous and everything, and now that comes out and you're not saying it, you're not condemning it in the same way, you're not condemning come on, the hypocrisy of it is just too glaring. And honestly, I still expect something to be said about that. Because if you come out and ever talk about, not you personally, but to come and say the crime situation, that was calling for criminal behavior. So you cannot have somebody on your side calling for criminal behavior. What if tomorrow, let's just say next week or tomorrow, somebody actually injures, attacks opposition minister? Tomorrow or day after, you think that will be removed? You think they can remove that act from that statement ever? Huh?
There's some things in life, caller, that you do not do. There's some things that you do not say. And in most civilized countries, when you say certain things that are egregious, that are irresponsible, you will be called to account. You will be condemned. You will be criticized. In St. Lucia, if you're a flubber, you say certain things, well, other people will make excuses for you. If it's SLP, they will make even more excuses for you. Okay? So that is life in our country.
I'm not looking at party, I'm looking at what's right, what's wrong. Because I know the party are just condemning the violence affecting everybody. Because the same way, there could be a side where there's a UWP minister or whatever, and he's not something the person asking for current, and he say, yes, I'll do it, but he cannot get around to doing it. That person gets frustrated. And they just say, oh, so we can do that, and then boom. You understand? So if wrong is wrong, it doesn't matter what side it's coming from, condemn it to the fullest. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. You are listening to NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM, and my technical people are telling me that we are off in the north of the island. That's because of a power outage. So as soon as Lucelec restores the electricity, we will be back in the north of the island on 97.9 FM. I think we are in the south. We are also on TuneIn. We are on YouTube, as well as on the NewsSpin Facebook page.
Lazarus's funeral home is here. Lazarus's private cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's private cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's funeral home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Introducing the new Lucelec Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, lucelec.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. Lucelec's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese, and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400.
Or visit our website, kfcslu.com.
Or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your Glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarkets, contact number 452-8814.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Ouais, messieurs. Pas jour, dis-moi la KSP plein bon glow, hein. Si t'es la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, me money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Gloka Fonte. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Have the Americans requested St. Lucia to set up vetted units within the ranks of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? Why am I asking that question? Well, the Americans have made a request to the authorities over in Trinidad and Tobago, because the country's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, made reference to this on July the 15th, and that's during a public meeting of his People's National Movement as they're getting all set for local government elections on the 14th of next month. Let's listen to Dr. Keith Rowley making reference to the Americans requesting his country to set up vetted units within the ranks of the within the ranks of the police force in the Twin Island Republic.
Only recently, a week ago or thereabouts, I was in a meeting with the Minister of National Security and our experts and the American experts, where the American government has undertaken, and we have agreed to accept it, to create within our police service what we call vetted units. Vetted units, meaning groups of special police officers, men and women, who are vetted to ensure that their integrity is intact. Because one of the problems that we have is that there are too many criminals in the police service. So when you're going after the non-police criminals, they have their friends in the police service to tip them off, and we have to have vetted units. And I'm telling this country that we are prepared to pay extra to police officers in those vetted units if they will maintain their integrity and help us to root out the criminals in the police service, in the customs, in immigration, and in the parliament.
Dr. Keith Rowley speaking during a public meeting of his PNM on July the 15th as they're getting all set for local government elections on the 14th of next month. Should we have vetted units within the ranks of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you on the air?
Yes, Tim.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm good.
Congratulations, Mr. Winner of the Old Mass for Carnival 2023.
Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir. Okay.
That's Julian Cauldron.
Julian Cauldron, yes. Sir.
What was it again you played? What you played?
Mr. PM, all you killing me country.
And describe what you had.
Okay, I was just like a farmer.
Uh-huh.
My Wellington boots, my cutlass, well, I mean a wooden cutlass I made it, right? My haversack and my country in my hand with my spray bottle that I'm trying to water it, but it's dying. You understand what I say?
Okay, well, I have a photograph. I'll send it to the producer and try and see if we could play it. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm here and I'm listening to two pieces of news item that you played there, and both involving the Prime Minister. One of them, he's rather surprised and shocked that has happened. When it happened, you played it, right?
Yes,
about
I did.
The Martinique. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't we have a foreign ministry?
We do have.
Do we have a consulate in Martinique?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wouldn't they get that information? The French people will just do that just so and send it out to the citizens, not advising our embassy about it?
They ought to.
So why is the Prime Minister so surprised? Okay, and number 2 is that Millennium Highway project. Who was the Minister of Infrastructure that signed that contract?
Our good friend Stevenson King.
Who is the Minister of Infrastructure right now?
He still is.
Okay, so isn't Stevenson King part of the cabinet?
But you heard the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said it has something to do with the contract, the nature of the contract, and maybe getting out of the contract. Maybe there are certain penalties.
No, but at least Stevenson King should advise him as to what is happening, because Stevenson King is the one. And you know what, Tim? There's a management unit for that project. So it's not Stevenson King managing it. Right. There's a managing unit from the ministry. I don't think it is based in the ministry from what I understand. It's a managing unit managing that project. And that project in that unit reports to the ministry. The minister would have the information about it and would pass on the information to the Prime Minister. So for the Prime Minister to be upheld, that is what is happening there and what not. Why didn't he take steps? Tim, there was a soft opening there, of the bridge.
Yeah.
There was a soft opening. The Prime Minister was there. Stevenson King was there. I mean, the Prime Minister have told us in non-certain terms he is good at playing the politics. And these 2 items there is a matter of he playing the politics. Makes no bones about it. You understand what I'm saying?
And he said that this thing is crying out for vengeance. I agree with him because, I mean, road users, particularly the minibus drivers, they have been going through this for quite some time. And I think in many instances, they cannot avoid that road because of the route.
Because of the route.
So imagine you have to go through this maybe 2 times, twice, 3 times, 4 times a day. Yeah. This is very painful.
Yeah, but Tim, every project has a life cycle. Okay, it has a schedule. So the management unit should be able to tell us whether the project is on schedule, behind schedule, or ahead of schedule. This is something that we should be able to get, because there's been a lot of noise over it. For the last year, there's been a lot of noise over it from the minibus drivers.
And what the Prime Minister must understand, that he is in charge. He must understand this and accept it, and get in line with it. That you are in charge. Do something about it. Whatever you have to do something about it to bring some kind of relief to road users. In the meantime, what is happening to the motorists? What is happening to their vehicles? They have to find the money wherever it is to buy the parts. Minibus drivers in particular. Otherwise, they'll be off the road. They can't earn a living. They can't make their money. They can't take care of their families. Those are the implications.
Well, I mean, if there are problems with the contract, find out from Stevenson King and tell the public, let people know. But don't play like you surprised you don't know about it. And, like he making it look like the contractor is out there on his own, doing his own thing at his own time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prime Minister is just playing the politics, which he say he's good at. But right now, he's not good at it, to tell you the honest truth. Probably before he was good at it, but not now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. We have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Calling from the diaspora.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, Timothy. This is Nancy.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, you calling from overseas or St. Lucia?
I'm calling from St. Lucia, but I have an issue with my other phone.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, please. All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I've been listening today, and I took a little time to listen again to the Prime Minister's 2-year anniversary press conference. And I think like everybody else in St. Lucia, I think. And is the Prime Minister surprised and not aware that he is the Prime Minister of this country? I mean, I don't know what to think. What do you think, Timothy? Does the Prime Minister think that people are foolish and stupid and uneducated and whatever other analogy we want to use to describe St. Lucians, to think that you can come on television and make certain statements and think that people will buy? So let's start with just the last one statement and the one your caller was talking about. And I listened to this caller and I thought, But everybody knows that. Timothy, for the Prime Minister to say that issues with the contract, and very cleverly, is the politics again. Very cleverly, there's some issues with the contract, and you emphasize with the drivers, and if they're going on strike, you're going on strike on them. You think that fools anybody? You are the Minister of Finance. You are the one responsible. But as the caller before me said, there is a project management unit within both the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Economic Development. And like the caller asked the question, and I wanted Lucians to understand, before he said there's an issue with the contract, this was not a direct award contract, Timothy. I want you to know that. Mm-hmm. The funding for the road was provided under the UK SIF project. So that is grant funding. Approximately 80% of the money for the road is grant funding, and the balance of the money is a loan taken with the CDB. When the contracts were ready, when it was ready for them to get a contractor for the road, it was competitive bidding. And it is within the guidelines of the CDB, not the guidelines of the St. Lucia government. It's the guidelines of the CDB. And I can guarantee you, Timothy, that within those guidelines, that there are certain criteria that if the contractor does not meet, it gives room for the government to take certain actions. So for the Prime Minister to now come out and say that, the Prime Minister just needs to admit that he is not satisfied with his Minister of Infrastructure. The same Minister of Infrastructure that was under the previous administration. His ministry, it was under his guide, his leadership that that contract was signed. He is still the same minister. So don't come and say, there's issues with the contract. Everybody knows the issue is with your minister and with you. No management over the project and what is going on there, Timothy. So when you tell the bus drivers or you emphasize with them, you'll strike with them, okay, call a strike and let me see if Philip J. will be at the forefront of the strike. And what will you say to them? Because you're the Prime Minister. You're saying to them that there's nothing you can say or do to the contractor to ensure that the road is being done and is on schedule. And furthermore, Timothy, if the road is not on schedule, why can't the Prime Minister say that? I mean, when they couldn't do any road works last year, did he say that we can't do any road construction because of rain? At least give an excuse. But the second matter, Timothy, just very quickly I wanted to speak about was the issue of the Prime Minister indicating that he is not aware with reference to the issue and the French and what has transpired and what has been suggested to French nationals wishing to travel to St. Lucia. Again, you're not aware? So let me tell you something. Maybe sometime last week when the issue of the UK visa came up. Do you remember the interview that Ernest Hille gave? Yeah. He tried to make it seem that this was just a fictitious story. But today we are learning from the UK that there was a meeting in Brussels sometime last week. And at that particular meeting, the issue was discussed, which is why the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, in that interview you saw at the etc., was able to speak on the matter. So the truth is that there was a meeting with CARICOM. What I say to St. Lucians is whether he was. The European Union had discussions with CARICOM countries who are running the CIP program, and gave certain criteria for them to fix the program if that's going to continue, especially potential people who may travel to the European Union without visa. I'm not sure if you've seen that article, and if you've read it, send it to you.
Yeah, but I've seen the article, but those are two different issues. I think what the minister said is that action has been taken against Dominica, and he has not received any information that the UK will take similar action against St. Lucia, Grenada, and also St. Kitts and Nevis. That's what he said.
The same article who quoted that these were in the works and these were the discussions is the same article that speaks to the meeting that took place in Brussels. Mm-hmm. And so somewhere somebody is not speaking the truth. Like you say, you don't want to call people liar, but somewhere along the line, somebody is not speaking the truth. and whether it is a stalling tactic, but these were the same issues that were discussed. And when you look at St. Kitts and Nevis, they issued a press statement. I don't know if you saw it as well.
I've seen it.
And when you look at changes to the CIP, exactly every single change that was recommended at that meeting last week, St. Kitts and Nevis has made those changes. They have asked for them to increase the amount of money for project. They have asked them to change the way that they're doing the security checks. They've asked a number of changes and recommendations, and St. Kitts and Nevis has done every single one of them. So it says to us that the meeting did take place. It says to us that there were discussions with concerns regarding the CIP program being run by those countries. And it says to us that some people listen and are taking the initiative to fix it because they do not want there to be any issues with their passport and with their citizens. And some people, they are either more concerned about the money and what the money will do for them, but they're not concerned about St. Lucians and the sovereignty of St. Lucians and the passports of St. Lucians. That for me is what the issue is. So I'm calling on Ules Hille to now come out and explain what transpired in Brussels. Who was there? Was Alva there or himself? What were the nature of the discussions? Were they privy to those discussions? And what is going to be the position of St. Lucia in moving forward immediately, because countries are taking action? What will be the actions taken by St. Lucians to ensure that we can secure the sovereignty of our passport?
Okay, ma'am.
That is very, very important.
Thank you so much for calling. Just heard there from Mrs. Nancy Childs of the Opposition United Workers' Party. Let's hear now from the world's best Prime Minister addressing the 42nd Frank Worrell Memorial. She delivered, the 42nd Frank Worrell Memorial Lecture on Tuesday of this week. It's about the poor state of West Indies cricket.
Every time we lose now, it is like a cuff in the bottom of your belly. Every time we hear that we can no longer qualify for that which we ought to have won. I remember as a school child, 1975, the first World Cup. Mrs. Carrington went looking for a group of us all over her school. She could not find us. We were down in the well of the steps to the basement of our house hiding out with a transistor radio, listening to that wonderful partnership that brought us home. And I asked myself, therefore, what will it take for us to have the honesty and the integrity of decision making to allow us to do right? Some may argue that it is incapable of voluntary decision making. I disagree. Some may argue that we may have to do like India and go to the Supreme Court and have cricket declared as a public good. Problem is that there may be no unanimity as to which court to go to, since all of us don't belong to the Caribbean Court of Justice. Some of these things bring laughter because we're Caribbean people, and we must laugh. As Chalk said, you either learn to laugh or you go mad and write your epitaph. The great language of Chalky. But what we have found ourselves in is a predicament that is no longer sustainable. And I pray that there will be the encounter between the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on Cricket and the leadership of Cricket West Indies and those others who are of similar love for the game and the civilization. Our people have already voted, and they have voted with their feet. I was horrified when I watched the audiences, or lack thereof, this last week. And I watched it while on the weekend and preparing my mind for this lecture, watched the documentary on Michael Holden, and saw that the people who rammed powder a few weeks ago really had nothing on the people who came over the stands and under the stands at Kensington Oval back in the early 1980s to watch the West Indies play. It was an amazing sight to see. And I suspect that none of the people who are born after 1980, because you were too young probably to see it then, would have appreciated the extent to which cricket was a mandatory performance for all. Now, it is true that technology has intervened and has given people other options, and we take that for granted. But I can bet anyone money that if we were winning as a team consistently, that we would have the place rammed, even if not with people on the roof and under the cellar as in previous years. So that when our public starts to send the message, as a politician, I would tell you and advise you it is time to listen. Because what you are losing is not only the financial basis for your continuance, but you're also losing the basis for you to continue to choose from the best that there is, because their parents are going to be advising them to move in to different sports.
Delivering the Frank Royal Memorial Lecture on Tuesday of this week, the best Prime Minister in the world, Mia Mottley, lamenting the poor state of West Indies cricket. Just imagine, a few decades ago when West Indies was winning game after game, whether it's the test matches or the one-day internationals, and after the victory, they would be playing David Rudder's Rally Around the West Indies. That was sending goosebumps, chills through you. You felt proud as a West Indian. But now, people don't, I mean, and speaking for myself, I really don't follow West Indies cricket anymore. I'm not a fair weather friend. I'm not on your side because you're winning or you're losing. But it has reached a point where it's a waste of my time to watch the West Indies capitulate. You know, when, for example, it'd be at 83 for 2 and then they lose, they score 114 in 23 overs against India. That makes you feel so miserable. So I've kind of given up on West Indies cricket. And if I were Darren Sammy, I would give up that post of being coach of the one-day international side. I think that will just sully his reputation as captain, who has won 2 World Cups in the format, the T20 format. Anyway, what's in the chat room, Kimani, as we're getting all set to conclude the broadcast?
Someone says, as a child, I used to stay up in the morning listening to cricket from Australia. These Australian commenters were it. Another comment, West Indies cricket is a reflection of our society today, just like our governments are a reflection of our society. Someone says, Mr. King is doing the same thing he did to the previous administration. Leopards don't change their spots. Another comment, Guy Joseph was Minister for Economic Development and had jurisdiction over that project, SMH. Someone says, so all this time y'all did not have an internal affairs department. Someone else says, that's what I just can't understand with St. Lucians. Josie is a private citizen. He can say whatever he wants, but what about the public figures? Those in government can say whatever they want and nothing for that. I've heard Richard say so many things. Not once have I heard an SLP hack, or hackalax as he calls it, come out and say anything. Another comment, Tim, I believe that question about the highway was posted to the wrong man. Should have been posted at King. Tim is the Prime Minister saying he is tired of handling that ministry. Caller, Philip J. Pierre was very responsible when he told his supporters to go in the faces of UWP supporters and say, you lose. That should not have come out of a Prime Minister's mouth. This is worse than what Peter Josie said. Someone says, leave Josie alone. When Rick is 80 years old, you can say anything you want, no apology. Let's see. PJP's management skills are lacking big time. Regardless of who signed the contract or who the contractor is, you are in charge. Stop always behaving like your hands are tied. You would sit back and say you are just as frustrated as us, the citizens. Another comment, someone says, King, PJP might have to fire you. You can't blame Guy anymore. And someone says, will there be a further tax increase to repair roads in St. Lucia? I think that's a good question. We might expect it with the government, don't you think, Tim?
I don't know for that one. I really don't know. But let's just wait and see what happens.
Someone says, no, my brother, this underscores the need for the government to purge the system of professionals who seem committed to party and not professional calling. The PM said we must take drastic measures, laws, so what are we supposed to do? Protest against the opposition? That's crazy. LOL, you are in power, not the opposition. To which contract are you tied? You're not tied to the Rodney Way contract. What kind of BS is that meat speaking? But that is it in the chat room.
All right, thank you so much. What's happening tomorrow evening and Saturday evening as well, 6:30 at the VG Sports Complex? There is boxing, and that's organized by the St. Lucia Boxing Association. The president of the St. Lucia Boxing Association, David Shakes Christopher, was on NewsSpin yesterday. Whilst promoting the event, he did lament the lack of private sector support for sports on the island.
All these places, all them Chinese foods we eating, everything, they didn't give him back nothing. So why we spend our money with these business places and they not give him back to the development of the youths, development of the country? Some of them getting tax exemption, getting all kind of things. They're not giving back to the youths. You try to import equipment, sporting equipment, you have to pay how much custom duties on it. You have to... It's sad. It's really
frustrating.
Sad.
But I know you to be a guy to be resilient. You never give up. You always come up with some kind of concept, some kind of avenue whereby you could really entertain the people and keep them engaged.
Well, what I'm doing is like what you will call I'm ordained to do what I'm doing.
David Shakes Christopher, president of the St. Lucia Boxing Association once again. OECS Boxing Championship taking place tomorrow and Saturday. That's 6:30 in the evening. Sorry, not tomorrow and on Saturday. This evening, 6:30. Tomorrow evening as well, 6:30, VG Sports Complex, the OECS Boxing Championship. Finally, our NewsSpin news of the day. Our NewsSpin news of the day. Global food systems broken, says UN chief, urging transformation in how food is produced and consumed. Global food systems broken, says UN chief, urging transformation in how food is produced and consumed. That's the broadcast. Gave you a bonus today, 8 minutes extra. That's it for today and this week. Thank you so much for watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page, also on YouTube, and thank you as well for listening on Power 97.9 FM. Enjoy your weekend, be safe, and we'll be back, God willing, with another edition of NewsSpin Monday afternoon, 12:30. Goodbye.